Good afternoon and welcome to Calon Cymru revision sessions. This session will focus on GCSE Welsh second language and be presented once again by Miss Stevens from Iaith School. The session will last around 45 minutes where the teacher will go through the relevant subject content. If you have any questions, please use the question and answer section and we'll endeavour to answer your questions during the session. The session will be recorded with the recording and any relevant resources uploaded to the e-sgol website in the Calon Cymru area later this week. Many thanks, and without further ado, I'll hand over to Miss Stevens. Diolch.
Shwmai, prynhawn da, croeso, diolch hefyd am ddod nôl. So dyma session 3, here's the third session of the Cymraeg Iaith sessions that we are running in March. So heddiw, today, we are going to discuss patrymau trydydd person, third person sentence patterns, and we're also going to look at 10 and 15 mark questions which are suitable for your exam. So aims of the session for today are revise a variety of questions on different topics, which is something we've looked at over the last couple of sessions. Look at the third person in Welsh. Look at how to say if we're similar or different, and also linking this to the third person. And then we're going to look at an example answer of a 15 mark question and complete a 10 mark question independently. So everything today, the questions are definitely relevant for all exams, and so is the saying if you're similar and different. And the 10 and 15 mark questions then are more relevant for your unit 3 and 4 reading and writing exams. Okay, so as we said earlier, if you've got any questions, please ask on the chat section there. So task ddechrau te, start for you, just to remind yourselves of what we've been looking at the last couple of weeks. Can you please fill in the gaps on the left hand side to complete the questions? So it says ble, and then there's a blank, ti'n byw. So what word would fit in there? Ble something ti'n byw. Number 2, beth ydi blank farn blank. Beth ydi something. Think about how you say in my opinion and how you turn that into a question. Okay. The third one, the blank, the missing part at the start. So this one can actually have a few answers. Something wyt ti'n cadw'n heini. Now cadw'n heini is keeping fit. So something, do you keep fit? So maybe why do you keep fit, or when do you keep fit, or where do you keep fit, or how do you keep fit? Okay. The next one, once again, the blank is at the start. So something, ti'n cytuno. Do you agree? Okay, so what word is going to go in there? And the last one, beth oedd something, meddwl something, ysgol. So what do blank think blank school? So think about in English what words you're looking at putting in. Pop your answers in the chat box if you can, please. And then when you've done number 1, have a look at task 2 wedyn, second task, where it says, so Gwen has said, dwi'n hoffi ffasiwn, ond mae dillad yn ddrud weithiau. So I like fashion, but dillad, clothes, are expensive sometimes. So what question could you ask Gwen off the back of reading that? Alec then says, fel arfer, dwi'n mwynhau gwylio'r teledu, ond mae'n gas gyda fi'r newyddion. So usually I enjoy watching TV, but I hate the news. So what question could you ask him there? Do you like watching this type of program, or where do you watch TV, or when do you watch TV? And then Anwen, yr un olaf, says, mae llawer o sbwriel ar y traeth ac ar y stryd, dylen ni gael mwy o finiau. So there's lots of rubbish ar y traeth on the beach ac ar y stryd on the street. Dylen ni, we should have, dylen ni gael mwy o finiau. Biniau, bins, so more bins. Okay, so what I want you to do is complete task 1 and then try and think of one question you could ask Gwen, one question you could ask Alec, and one question you could ask Anwen, and you can use task 1 to help you, or you can create your own questions completely different to those ones. Okay, so pop your answers then in the chat, and we'll go from there. Okay, think about the keywords that we've looked at, words like pryd, when, sit, how, gyda pwy, with who. Think about how you say ble, where, wyt ti'n, do you, or are you. So think about what you could ask when. Do you shop in this shop? Do you like shopping? Where do you like shopping? When do you like shopping? Why do you like fashion? Okay, and this will help you by giving you lots of ideas of different questions you can ask in the exams, both in the speaking exam and in the reading and writing exam. Diane, so we've had some answers in, so ardderchog. So, ble wyt ti'n byw? Ble is where, wyt ti'n, do you, and byw is live. So, ble wyt ti'n byw? Where do you live? Beth ydy, what is dy farn di? What is your opinion? Okay, beth ydy dy farn di? What is your opinion? Now, you may be used to in class using yn fy marn i. The ver means my, so you want to change the ver to dy, your. What is your opinion? Pam wyt ti'n cadw'n heini? Why do you keep fit? Or sut wyt ti'n cadw'n heini? How do you keep fit? Or ble wyt ti'n cadw'n heini? Have a look at the next one then. Wyt ti'n cytuno? Wyt ti'n cytuno? Do you agree? Beth wyt ti'n? What do you meddwl, think of ysgol then, a school? Okay. So I'm just going to go through those. I'm going to show you the answers on the screen. So, ble wyt ti'n byw? Beth ydy dy farn di? Sut wyt ti'n cadw'n heini? Wyt ti'n cytuno? Beth wyt ti'n meddwl o ysgol? And some of the questions you could have asked, Gwen, beth ydy dy hoff shop? What's your favourite shop? Ble wyt ti'n siopa? Where do you shop? Wyt ti'n mwynhau siopa yng Nghaerdydd? Do you enjoy shopping in Cardiff? Okay, so you want to try and make your answers as well and your questions as personal to you as you can, so that they're relevant to you and you've got an opinion on them. Look at Alec then. Gyda phwy wyt ti'n gwylio'r teledu? With who do you watch TV? Beth ydy dy hoff raglen? What is your favourite programme? Pam wyt ti'n casáu'r newyddion? Why do you hate the news? Okay, because Alec doesn't give a reason for that. And then the last one, where Anwen mentions the rubbish on the beach, you could ask, oes llawer o blastig ar y traeth? Oes llawer o blastig yn y môr? Is there lots of plastic on the beach or in the sea? Beth allen ni wneud I helpu? What could we do to help? And that will obviously as well help you use different tenses in your work. Okay, so we're going to move on now then to look at patrymau'r trydydd person, third person sentence patterns. And we've got 4 boxes here for you to look at. We've got the presennol, so we've got the third person present tense. We've got the third person past tense. We've got the third person dyfodol, future tense. And we've got the third person amodol. And I've mentioned over the last couple of sessions as well, how you need to try and include different tenses in your work in every single exam to try and gain the most marks you can. Okay, so we're going to start off with the presennol, the present tense. So these are patterns you should have come across at school, but let's have a look at them. So you've got my un, he is. My hun, she is. My John is. Obviously, you can change that to anyone's name. My fy ffrindan, my friend is, or my fy ffrindan hoffi, my friend likes. Don't forget, you can just put any verb onto the end of these and create a sentence. My John yn meddwl bod, John thinks that. And one at the bottom there, if you want to say yn fy marn I, but in John's opinion, you say marn John, in John's opinion, or marn fy ffrind, in my friend's opinion. Okay, so he lives would be my un byw. She likes would be my hun hoffi. John plays would be my John yn chwarae. Okay, let's have a look now then at the past tense. So we've got gorffennol. Now, roedd un, he was. So he was playing, roedd un chwarae. He was dancing, roedd un dawnsio. She was, roedd hi'n. So she was studying, roedd hi'n astudio. John was is roedd John yn. So if you see roedd at all, you should be recognizing that that means was or were. Okay, past tense, well, imperfect tense, but used with the past tense. So John was sunbathing, roedd John yn torheilo. John was travelling, roedd John yn teithio. So you need to know your verbs to be able to create these sentences, but if you know these patterns, you're definitely going to be able to use third person in your work. Then you've got some of the irregular past tense verbs. So we've got Iaith he went. Iaith he, she went. Iaith John, John went. Okay, same with Kyle, to have. In the past tense is irregular. So we say cafodd he had. Cafodd he, she had. Cafodd John, John had. So cafodd amser fantastic. He had a fantastic time. Okay. And then obviously you've got some regular verbs in the past tense. Now I've not put all of the regular verbs there because they all follow a pattern. So you should be able to work them out. So what you do with your regular verbs is you get your verb, so bwyta. If it ends in I, O, U, A, egg or ed, you need to drop it. And then you add the endings for the third person there, which are at the bottom. So of e is the ending for he, of he is the ending for she, and of John is the ending for John. So bwytodd e, he ate. Bwytodd he, she ate. Bwytodd John, John ate. Okay. The next block across, then we've got the dyfodol, the future tense. So we've got not roi this time. Roi is past tense. Mai is present tense. But this time we've got bydd ein, he will or he will be. So bydd ein hapus, he will be happy. Okay. Bydd hi'n, she will or she will be. And then we've got negatives as well. Fydd e ddim yn, fydd hi ddim yn, he will not be or she will not be. And the last box then on the right-hand side is we've got the trydydd person amodol, the conditional tense. Your shoulds, your coulds, your woulds, your would likes to, okay? So all of these have got the same ending as well, which are at the bottom. So you've got dylai e, he should. Dylai he, she should. Dylai John, John should. Then you've got gallai e, he could. Gallai he, she could. Gallai John, John could, okay? And then the same thing, so same endings again. Hoffai e, he would like. Hoffai he, she would like. Hoffai John, John would like. And the final one then is basai e, he would. Basai he, she would. And basai John, John would. Okay, so there's a lot of information there for you. And obviously this resource will be available on the Calum Cymru section of the website, so you can go back and have a look at it again. But what I'd like you to do just to practice now is the task at the top. So cyfieithwch, translate. So I want you to try and use the present tense to translate. John enjoys swimming in the swimming pool. So let's do that one together. So look at what John enjoys or John is enjoying. We'd say my John yn. Enjoys, we know, is mwynhau. Swimming, nofio. And then in the swimming pool, yn y pwll nofio. And that would be number one then, done. Number two is in the amodol box, the conditional box. He could go to the park tonight. So look in that box for he could. Think about how we say go to the park, and then the word tonight is heno, okay? Jack would like to go to college. So once again, that's in your conditional box. Look for would like, change it from John to Jack this time. Go, we've got that again, mynd to college. The fourth one is in your dyfodol box, your future tense. He will not be playing rugby tomorrow. So look for he will not be. You should know the word playing, rugby, and tomorrow is avori. And she went to the cinema on the weekend. So that's your gorffen on your past tense box. She went to the cinema on the weekend. Okay, so can you pop your answers in the chat, please? And we'll go through them then. Okay, so split it up, always split it up. Look at your sentence patterns first, get that correct, and then try and add in the extra detail. Now, this links in with the session we did the other day, where we were looking at how to add detail into our work. And this means that you can show a good understanding of the third person and not just in the present tense. So it's going to aim for those higher marks. Okay, so a couple of minutes now to do those. 2 funud falle, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, if you've got any questions, please ask. So just think about what I said. Key, you need the sentence pattern at the start. Then you need the verb. So enjoy, go, play, and she went is there as an irregular verb, so that one you don't need so much. And see if you can translate those for me. Okay, off you go. Diane, so we've had some answers in, so let's have a look. My John and mwynhau nofio and a pwll nofio, we went through that one. He could go to the park tonight. So he could is gallai e, okay? Gallai e, which is in your amodol box. Gallai e, mynd i'r park heno, da iawn. Jack would like to go to college. Hoffai Jack fynd i'r coleg, Da iawn. Remember, you've got a soft mutation after these amodal verbs there, the patterns. He will not be playing rugby tomorrow. Fydd e ddim yn chwarae rugby yfory. And the last one, she went to the cinema on the weekend. So aeth he for she went. Aeth e is he went, okay? So aeth he i'r cinema. And remember the difference between e, which means to, and i'r, which means to the. Cinema is spelled with S in Welsh, on the weekend, ar y penwythnos. Okay, so check your answers there. See if you can mark your work, see how you got on with those. And now we're going to move on to looking at tebyg neu'n wahanol. So still focusing on the third person, but bringing a different skill into it as well. So tebyg is the Welsh word for similar. I'll say, okay, so can you practice saying that one? Tebyg. Okay, then you've got the word gwahanol, which means different, which after a mutation turns to wahanol. So just be mindful, you may see it as wahanol sometimes, okay? So tebyg, similar, gwahanol, different. So you, in this particular task, I've given you 3 people. So you've got Joe, Gwen and Pip, and they've said their sentences about, they've given an opinion. So you're going to do 2 different things here. You're going to write their sentence in the third person to practice that again. So you can think back to what we've just done on the previous task. And then you're going to decide if you are tebyg, similar, or different to them, to those people, okay? And this is a good way for you to practice doing this, because when it comes to your exams, you may have to say, oh, I'm similar to this person because, or I'm different to this person because. So you have to understand their opinion and give your own opinion, but also say if you agree or disagree, or if you're similar or different, okay? So we'll do, I'll have a look at the bottom section first. We've got 4 phrases there at the bottom. Dwi'n debyg I. I am similar to. Now that word I there, the I means to. I am similar to Joe, achos, and then you give your opinion. I also like this, or I like this also, okay? Underneath that, o dan hwnna, mae gyda chi, dwi ddim yn debyg I. I am not similar to Joe. Achos dwi'n casau, if Joe likes something and you're different, you can say, I hate this, okay? Dwi'n wahanol I. I am different to this person, and you can say why. And the last one, hefyd, which means also. So let's practice saying those, okay? I want you to practice saying them after me to practice the pronunciation. So you've got dwi'n debyg I am similar to. Dwi ddim yn debyg I am not similar to. Dwi'n wahanol I am different to. And hefyd, also, okay? So look at the task above, and Joe says, dwi'n bwyta'n iach bob dydd. Dwi'n, I, bwyta'n iach, eat healthy, bob dydd, every day. So Joe is saying, I eat healthy every day. Now, how would you write that in the third person? Now, remember, you can't have dwi'n in the third person, okay? Dwi'n means I. So in the third person, you need to say, Joe eats healthy every day. So replace the dwi'n to either my ein or my Joe un, okay? And that will work. So you're going to write that in the chat box, in the question and answer box now for the third person. And then I want you to also write in, are you similar or different to Joe? So if you also like eating healthy every day, you could say, dwi'n debyg I Joe, I'm similar to Joe, achos dwi'n hoffi bwyta salad. I'm similar to Joe because I like eating salad. Now, how have you said that you're similar? Well, salad's a healthy food and Joe likes eating healthy. So you said that you're similar in that respect. If you're different to Joe, you could say, dwi'n wahanol I Joe, achos dwi'n casau bwyta'n iach. I hate eating healthy. Mae'n well gyda fi. I prefer sglodion pob dydd, chips every day. Okay? Then you've got Gwen, who says, dylwn I daflu, I should throw llai o sbwriel yn yr ysgol. I should throw less rubbish in school. So how would you say Gwen should throw? Not I should throw. Gwen should throw. So think about the endings we had on the previous slide for third person for Gwen, okay? And then once again, I want you to tell me, are you similar or different to Gwen? So do you taflu sbwriel yn yr ysgol? Do you throw rubbish in school? If you do, tell me what you throw. Tell me what you could be doing instead, okay? And the third one, bwytais I KFC neithiwr. I ate KFC last night. So you want to turn that into either she ate KFC last night or Pip ate KFC last night. So the IC needs to go. The IC means I, so you need to change that for the third person ending. And then once again, tell me if you're similar or different to Pip. So if you had KFC last night, then you're debyg, you're similar. If you had McDonald's last night, then you're wahanol. If you had hot dog, ci poeth last night, then you're wahanol. But if you had QYAR, chicken last night, then you could say that you're debyg in a way because you also had chicken. Okay, so can you pop some of your answers now into that question and answer section, and we'll go through them and discuss. Okay, so I'll give you 2 funud nawr I orffen, and we'll have a discussion on whether or not you're similar or different. Okay. Diane, lovely answer just come in. So instead of dwi'n bwyta'n iach bob dydd, mae John yn bwyta'n iach bob dydd. Okay, and you could have changed that to my in as well. Dwi'n wahanol I John, I'm different to John, achos dwi'n dwlu ar siocled, or dwi'n dwlu ar bwyd afiach. Okay, you could even use the phrase, mae'n well gyda fi, I prefer. Okay. Diane, another way to say that would be, dwi ddim yn debyg I Joe, rather than dwi'n wahanol, achos dwi'n hoffi bwyta siocled a lotion. And you could take that one step further and say, yn fy marn I, mae siocled yn flasus iawn, or you could say something like, fy hoff siocled ydi. Okay, so always think of ways to extend your work even further. Don't just stop with, I am similar because, I'm different because. There's some excellent, accurate sentences being sent in there. So let's go through Gwen and then Pip then. So Gwen, instead of dylwn ni, it should say dylai Gwen. Gwen should. Dylai Gwen daflu llai o sbwriel yn yr ysgol. Tell me if you're similar or different to Gwen. And the same with Pip. Instead of bwyt IC, the IC part there means it's first person. So you need to get rid of the IC and replace that with a third person ending, bwyt of Pip. Okay, bwyt of Pip. Pip ate KFC neithiwr. And then once again, say if you're similar or different to Pip. Okay. Right, da iawn, ardderchog, excellent answers there. Now we're going to move on to look at the 10 and 15 mark questions. Okay, now 10 and 15 mark questions are part of the writing section of the paper. They're shorter written questions, but there's some things you must ensure that you do. So let's have a look at the tips I've written down here. So first thing you're looking at is to vary your sentence patterns. Try to avoid starting every sentence with dwi'n, okay? You want to try and change it up. Maybe put a dwi'n, then an yn fy marn I, then an AC, so you've got the past tense in there as well. Then a mae fy ffrind yn hoffi, or mae fy ffrind yn meddwl bod. Okay, so various sentence patterns, include a different tense if you can. So AC, I went, or hoffwn ni, I would like to. Make sure your work is structured. Make sure you've got paragraphs, your punctuation, and all of that is correct. Follow the bullet points. So on a 10 and 15 mark question, you are going to be told, rhaid I chi, you must include the following information. Therefore, you need to cover every single bullet point, okay? It's not a choice where you get to cover 1 or 2. You need to cover every bullet point, and in the brackets then next to the bullet point, you'll have a number, and that will be how many marks that bullet point is worth. Now, if it says talk about your hobbies, and in brackets it says 2 points, then you need to be given two different sentences, 2 different points for each mark, okay? Read the question, another tip, a massive thing which is really important. Read the question in both Welsh and English. Now, it can be tempting to just race ahead and just read the English, but if the word is there in English, the word is also there in Welsh, and sometimes you will need the word in the question for your answer. So always try and match up the Welsh words, the key Welsh words to the English words so that you can use them in your work, okay? And remember, you can make it up, it doesn't have to be true, but you do need the Cymraeg to be accurate. Don't overcomplicate it, keep it simple, keep it structured. Think about all the good things you can include in your work, like your idioms, your tenses, your third person, good structure, good spelling, and you will be successful in those questions, okay? And let's have a look at an example then. So we've got here an example of a 15 mark question. Now, a 15-mark question, this one here is 8 marks and then 7 marks, which is where you get the 15 from. Okay, so the question says, mae dosbarth Cymraeg mewn ysgol ym Patagonia eisiau gwybod sut mae pobl ifanc Cymru yn treulio eu amser hamdden. Ysgrifennwch nodyn yn Gymraeg i'r dosbarth. And then it says, mae'n rhaid I chi, you must. Now, the English question is exactly the same as the Welsh, just translated, okay? So, Welsh class in a school in Patagonia. So, Cymraeg is Welsh, isn't it? Mewn ysgol in a school in Patagonia. Eisiau gwybod, want to know how, sut, pobl ifanc, young people, spend treulio amser hamdden, spend their leisure time or free time. Ysgrifennwch, write a nodyn, a note, to the class, okay? And then it gives you 3 separate bullet points. And if you add up the bullet points, you will get your 8 marks, okay? And those are called your content marks, your cynnwys, okay? So, first one says, sôn am eich diddordebau, okay? Mention your interests. Wedyn, rhif 2 yn dweud, sôn am beth wnaethoch chi penwythnos diwethaf. Mention what you did penwythnos diwethaf last weekend. Now, that is telling you once the past tense, okay? And then mention what your friends like to do. So the first bullet point is just general interest, just general hobbies of yours, something you should be quite familiar with writing. Second bullet point, last weekend, so you need to put different structures there in the past tense. I went here, I did this, I played this, I ate this, I drank this, my friend ate this. Okay, and then the last bullet point, mention what your friends like to do. Okay, so for that, you need what we've been looking at, third person. Now, if you can get in here third person and a different tense, even better. Okay, so let's have a look at the example answer. What I've done is I've color coded it so it's easy for you to see which part of the answer represents the first bullet point, which part of the answer represents the second bullet point, and which part of the answer represents the third. So the coch, the red, is just for bullet point 1, mentioning your interests, sôn am hobbyau. Okay. Now, I would always start it off with something like shwmai and then your name. So shwmai non ydw I just gives it a good start and structures your work. And you can always end it with diolch yn fawr, so the examiner knows that you have and you've finished your piece of work, not just you finished the sentence. Okay. So shwmai non ydw I, a bod yn honest, so to be honest, ar y penwythnos on the weekend, dwi'n mwynhau mynd i'r traeth gyda fy ffrindiau. So that would be one sentence. To be honest, on the weekend, I enjoy going to the beach with my friends. So that would get you 1 mark, okay? Fy hoff traeth ydi mumbles achos dwi'n dwlu ar hufen iard Joe's. Now, that's a different pattern, so that's good. We're varying it up. And a good extended reason. My favourite beach is Mumbles because I love dwlu ar hufen iard Joe's. Okay? Then I've given one more sentence. Hefyd, also, dwi'n hoffi syrffio yn y môr yn Llangennydd ar ddydd Sul, achos mae'n helpu fi ymlacio. So I also like surfing yn y môr in the sea yn Llangennydd ar ddydd Sul. So I've given details, that's good. I like surfing in the sea in Llangennydd on Sunday because mae'n helpu fi ymlacio. So once again, a nice reason helps me relax. Okay. So when I'm thinking now about what I've included, when I'm double checking my work at the end, I think to myself, right, have I got 2 separate points? Yes. Have I tried to vary my sentences? Yes. Have I got an idiom in there? Yes, I've got a bod yn honest and I've got hefyd. Have I got good reasons in there? Yes. So I'm good to go. I can move on to the second bullet point, okay? And sometimes, depending on the question, you won't be able to put your idiom in the first one, but make sure that your work is consistent. So somewhere in your work, you've got connectives, you've got idioms, you've got third person, you've got your connectives, your different tenses, your sentence patterns, etc. Okay. So the second bullet point says now, sôn am beth wnaethoch chi penwythnos diwethaf. Mention what you did last weekend. Okay. Now, the word penwythnos diwethaf means last weekend. So the vocabulary is there in English and Welsh. So you could even start your paragraph with that. Penwythnos diwethaf, last weekend, es I siopa, I went shopping yn Abertawe gyda fy ffrind Gwen. Ar ôl siopa, after shopping, aethon ni am fwyd yn Nando's. Now, this is good because I've got a different tense here. So I went shopping in Swansea with my friend Gwen. After shopping, aethon ni, we went for food in Nando's. Roedd hi'n flasus. It was tasty. Yn y prynhawn, in the afternoon, Aethon ni i'r theatr newydd. We went to the new theatr. Hwyl a spree, fun and games. Yn y theatr, prynais I grys tŷ newydd. In the theatr, I bought a new t-shirt. Wedyn, then, yn olaf. So, can you see these little words like ar ôl, wedyn, yn y prynhawn, yn y bore? They all help to add structure to that piece of work, okay? Yn olaf, finally, yn y nos, in the night, dawnsiais I yn y disco gyda ffrindiau. Rai dweud, mwynheais I lawer. So I must say, rai dweud, mwynheais I lawer. I enjoyed a lot. Okay, so remember now, that bullet point is worth 4 marks. So it's worth more than the first one, so I need to be writing more. Okay, so the keywords is that the keywords are there, penwythnos diwethaf last weekend. I need 4 separate things that I've done, really. So es I siopa, aethon ni am fwyd yn Nando's, a roedd hi'n flasus. Aethon ni i'r theatr newydd, a prynais I crys tŷ, and then dawnsiais I yn y disco. So I've definitely got 4 things. So I'm safe with content marks, and then I need to make sure that it's accurate for your expression marks, your mynegion. And that's where the other 7 come in. How accurate is your work? How much are you trying to vary your patterns? Okay, so if you're aiming for a high mark on the expression, those are the things you need to do. But content-wise, as long as you cover each of the bullet points and in enough detail, you will get your marks for content. Okay, and the final bullet point then is mention. So sôn am beth mae'ch ffrindiau'n hoffi gwneud. Mention what your friends like to do. Now, once again, the word ffrindiau is in the question in Welsh, so friends, and gwneud is to do. Okay, so you could say mae ffrindiau yn hoffi, mae fy ffrindiau yn hoffi. Okay, so let's have a look how I started this. It's always good to start this paragraph with an idiom. Okay, o dro I dro, from time to time. Mae fy ffrindiau yn hoffi siopa. My friends like shopping, gyda fi, with me. Ond ar y llaw arall, but on the other hand, maen nhw'n hoffi chwarae rygbi a gwylio pêl-droed yn y stadiwm. So they like to shop with me sometimes, on ar y llaw arall, but on the other hand, and that's where your idioms can help you give both sides of view. They like playing rugby and watching football in the stadium. Mae fy ffrind Ben yn cefnogi tîm Abertawe. My friend Ben supports Swansea team of Swansea, ond dwi ddim yn cytuno gyda fi. I don't agree with him. Mae Ben yn mwynhau chwarae cricket hefyd. Ben also likes playing cricket. Okay, dim siawns, no chance. Mae'n well da fi syrffio. So not only am I saying what my friends like to do, I'm linking it back to whether or not I agree or disagree, just to give that extra detail and the extra effects like dim siawns. Dwi ddim yn cytuno. Or dro I dro. They're all good effects that are going to improve your expression mark, okay? And then I said diolch yn fawr to end it. So once again, the bottom bullet point is worth 2 marks. So I need 2 separate things. So 2 things my friends like. Well, they like playing football and rugby. Ben supports Swansea, and Ben also likes playing cricket. So I've covered all bases there. Now, you've got to be really, really strict in an exam, and you've got to make sure that you give yourself enough time for a question like this, but also don't give yourself too much time. Okay, so it's worth 15 marks, so give yourself, you know, a decent amount of time to answer it. Make sure you've covered the bullet points. Make all of the bullet points. You have to discuss them all. Make sure you've used a variety in your work. Make sure your work's accurate. Check your punctuation and grammar. And make sure your work looks clear and is structured. Okay, so that's definitely a bit of advice there for you. Now, what I'd like you to put in the question and answer chat now is, why do you think that's a good answer? And be specific, because I want you to understand why that is a good answer. What has it got in it which makes it good? And, you know, I don't want you to say here something like it's long, it's got good detail. Be specific. It's got a good use of the past tense by using this. It's used the conditional tense because they've used this. Okay, it's answered the question because it's used a variety of sentence patterns. There are good idioms such as this. So can you now, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Can you write in the chat why you think that's a good answer? Because what you're going to do in a second is you're going to attempt a 10-mark question of your own. And if you can understand why that answer is good, it will help you with the standard of your work when you do that shortly. Okay, so can you pop your answers in the chat now then? Why is that a good answer in your opinion? Or if you think it could be improved, how do you think it could be improved even further? Okay, can you do that now, please? Diolch. Diane, so think about the fact that it's got a few idioms, not just one idiom. And think about the fact that the idioms are consistent. Okay, they're there throughout. They're not just in at the end, just to try and get one in before I finish my piece of work. Think about the fact there are different tenses, that not every sentence starts with doing, okay? Think about why else it's a good answer. Have I covered all the bullet points? Yes, I have. So I have to have the content marks, okay? Think about the fact as well that there's all these extra bits of detail, like where you do your hobby or when you do your hobby or why you do it, okay? Good reasons in your work as well. Okay, we're going to move on now then to have a look at a 10-mark question. And this is the question I would like you to attempt. Okay, so a similar structure to a 15-mark question where you have, you get given bullet points and you have to discuss them. Okay, now in a 10-mark question, you've got, well, in this particular 10-mark question, they can be slightly different on the exam paper, but you've got cynnwys, your content. So what you write is worth 6 marks, and then your mynegiant, your expression. So is your work clear? Are you varying your sentences? Are you giving effective opinions? Your mynegiant, your expression, is worth 4 marks. Okay, so the first thing you need to concentrate on is the content, is talking about what the bullet points are. And then you need to ensure as you're going along that you've got your different language patterns, you've got your idioms, you've got your good reasoning. Okay, now I have put a support box for you on the right-hand side, a box cymorth, and that's to help you answer this. So let's have a look at this question then. Okay, it says, disgrifiwch eich ffrind yn Gymraeg. Describe your friend in Welsh. Now, I picked this question on purpose because you will need to use the third person to describe your friend. Okay. So if it says to describe a hero or a friend or a famous Welsh person or describing anybody else apart from you, you need to be in the third person, okay? So what you've got to do, and it says again, right, you must include ffeithiau am y person, facts about the person. Now, it does say there EG or EE. Now, that means you can choose what facts you include, but there have to be facts. So it's 2 marks, you need at least 2 things, possibly 3. So you've got oed, you could include their oed, their age. You've got gwaith, their work or their job maybe. Hobbyau, you could talk about your friends' hobbies. You could even give a visual description, so what they look like. Gwallt or llygaid or trwyn. You could do that. That is a fact, okay? So the second bullet point then says personoliaeth. So what you don't want to do is use one of your facts as their personality. Okay, so keep the facts and the personality separate. So you're going to describe their personality. You're going to say if they're funny and why they're funny. Okay, do they like laughing? You're going to say they're kind, what they do to be kind. They help fi, they help me. Gwneud I fi chwerthin, make me laugh. Okay, they gwrando arna I, they listen to me. That may be something how you can describe their personality. And the last one is your opinion of the person. So that may need a mixture of first and third person. So you may need to say there, yn fy marn I, in my opinion, mae fy ffrind yn whatever. Or dwi'n meddwl bod fy ffrind yn whatever. So there's a mixture of both first and third person. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to have a think. When you're talking about facts about the person, how do we say their age? Well, my un is he is and my hun is she is. So my un 20 oed, for example, he is 20 years old. Or my hun 15 oed, she is 15 years old. My hun byw yn, she lives in. My John yn hoffi dansio, John likes dancing. My John yn astudio, they study this subject in school. My John yn hoffi gweithio ar y penwythnos, John likes working on the weekend. Okay, so remember what I said about having a clear start. You could always put Shemai and then your name and then go into this. You could even start with enw fy ffrind ydi, my friend's name is. So enw fy ffrind ydi John. Mae John yn 15 oed ac mae John yn byw yn Abertawe. So John is 15 years old and John lives in Swansea. That would be 2 facts and that would be that bullet point done. You don't need to say, it's only worth 2 marks. You do not need to say 7 or 8 things about John. It is too much, okay, about facts. Then you need to say 2 things about John's personality. So my John yn ddoniol, John's funny. Dwi'n hoffi chwerthin gyda John. I like laughing with John. That would be one thing about the personality. John's funny, okay? Another thing about the personality then would be my John yn garedig, he's kind. O mae John yn swill, he's shy. O mae John yn swnllyd, John is noisy, and you could say, achos mae e'n siarad llawer, because he talks a lot, okay? And then, so 2 things there again, 2 separate things. And then last bullet point is your personal opinion. Why do you like that person? Why have you said yn fy marn i mae John yn great? Try to avoid using the same adjectives twice, okay? So if you've used hwyl once, you can use ddoniol. If you've used ardderchog, use anhygoel, okay? If you've used swill, maybe use dawel. Just shows that you can use a bigger variety of adjectives. And then you've got a good order description with at least 3 different language patterns is how you get 4 out of 4 for your expression. A good description with at least 2 different language patterns. So 2 different language patterns would be like my ein and yn fy marn i. And then an effort to create a paragraph. So make sure you paragraph your work. It's really important, the structure. So what I'd like you to do now then, please, have a look at the help box. We've got my ein, he is. My hi'n, she is. Mae gwallt something gyda fe, he has something here. Mae gwallt something gyda hi, she has something here. Mae llygaid gyda fe, he has these eyes. Mae llygaid gyda hi, she has these eyes. Yn fy marn i, in my opinion, ei fod ein, that he is, and ei bod hi'n, that she is. So in my opinion, I think that he is. In my opinion, I think that she is. Right, so what I want you to do now, I want you to spend a couple of minutes. Now, you wouldn't have long to do a question like this in the exam. So give yourself a couple of minutes and try and answer as many bullet points there as you can. We are coming up to the end of the session shortly, so you can always finish this in your own time. But it's just good for you to have a look at what you need to do exactly in a 10-mark question to make sure that you get the best marks. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. Can you just write, even if you write 1 sentence in the chat box that you've come up with, and then we'll put them together and we'll see if we can have a 10-mark question. Okay, so 1 minute, 1 minute, and then only troi'r atebion. We'll go through the answers. Okay, diolch. Okay, so one option could be, mae John yn hoffi chwarae rugby. Okay, that could be one thing of a fact. Mae John yn hoffi chwarae rugby. Another one could be, mae gwallt brown gyda John. Mae John yn dal. John is tall. Mae John yn byw gyda'r teulu yng Nghaerdydd. Mae John yn byw yn Aberystwyth. Okay, mae fy ffrind yn mwynhau. Okay, mae fy ffrind yn mwynhau merlota. My friend enjoys horse riding. My friend enjoys siopa yn y dref. Okay. Another thing that you could say here would be mae John yn ddoniol. John is funny. And then your personal opinion. In my opinion, John is great because, in my opinion, John is fantastic because I like talking to John, or I like listening to John, or I like doing this with John. Okay, and always try and make sure you've got diolch yn fawr at the end, or something, or just diolch, or hwyl fawr, just to make sure that you've got some sort of start with your shwmai and some sort of ending with your hwyl fawr, just so that the examiner knows you finished that question and you actually got to the end of it and you know how to structure your work. Okay, yeah, if you've got any questions, please just pop them in the chat. I hope that's been useful for you today. So we've gone through today trydydd person, 3rd person sentence patterns, looking at how to say if we're similar or different. We've looked at a 15 marker and a 10 marker, which are important questions on the exam paper. So yeah, if you need anything, just have a look back through this PowerPoint and yeah, hopefully that will help you. So pob lwc, diolch yn fawr, and see you next Tuesday for the 4th session. Hwyl fawr.